The weather app said clear skies. That's why she left her umbrella at home. By late afternoon, clouds gathered without warning. The air shifted, heavy and electric. She stepped out of the office just as the first drops fell, slow, deliberate, almost polite. Within seconds, it turned into real rain. The kind that soaks through coats and patience. She ran toward the nearest cafe awning, already laughing at how predictable life feels until it suddenly isn't. A few other people huddled there too, checking phones, calling rides, waiting for something to change. He was already standing under the awning. Not hiding exactly, just watching the rain like it was part of the plan. He glanced at her, then at the sky, and said, "Forecast said it wouldn't." She nodded, brushing water from her hair. "Forecast lies," she replied. They stood there in shared inconvenience. Close enough to hear each other over the rain, far enough to pretend it was accidental. He offered her half of his coffee, already cold. She declined but smiled at the gesture. Minutes passed. The rain didn't slow. Conversation began without intention. About unpredictable days. About how people try to schedule everything, even emotions. She admitted she hated when plans changed suddenly. He confessed he secretly liked it, it forced him to adapt instead of control. When a bus splashed water across the curb, they both jumped back at the same time, laughing. The tension broke. The rain felt less like a problem and more like an interruption they didn't mind sharing. Eventually, he stepped out into it without hesitation. "Come on," he said. "It's just water." She hesitated for a second, then followed. They walked through the rain without rushing, shoes soaked, coats heavy, the city blurred around them. It wasn't practical. It wasn't planned. But it felt strangely freeing. By the time they reached the next block, she wasn't thinking about forecasts anymore. Sometimes life changes direction because something goes wrong. And sometimes, all it takes is stepping into the rain. Instead of waiting for it to stop. They didn't stop walking even when they could have. The rain soaked through everything, turning sidewalks reflective, turning streetlights into soft halos. She felt ridiculous and alive at the same time. He looked over at her, smiling, not because the situation was romantic, but because she had chosen to stay in it. They ducked into a small bookstore cafe a few blocks later, dripping and laughing. The barista handed them napkins without comment, clearly used to rain-soaked romantics. They found a table near the window, steam rising from their clothes as they warmed their hands around fresh cups of coffee. The conversation shifted there. She admitted she usually waits for things to stabilize before acting, before saying what she feels, before making decisions. He said he used to be the same until he realized most right moments don't arrive on schedule. They talked about missed chances, about how easy it is to overthink until an opportunity disappears. Outside, the rain slowed to a steady rhythm. When it was time to leave, neither checked the forecast again. They stepped out under a sky still uncertain but softer now. The streets glistened, quieter than before. She realized she didn't feel the need to rush home anymore. At the corner, he paused. "Same time tomorrow," he said lightly. Not a demand. Not a promise. Just an option. She smiled and nodded. The next day was clear. No clouds. No warnings. But she brought her umbrella anyway, not because she expected rain, but because she understood now that sometimes the unexpected is exactly what you need. Some connections don't begin under perfect skies. They begin when something interrupts your routine. And you decide to step forward instead of back.